The fact that people undervalue themselves without realizing it is more common than you can imagine. This can lead to a lack of self-confidence and decreased self-esteem. By recognizing the signs that we may be undervaluing ourselves, we can take steps to rectify this situation and embrace our true potential. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, eloquently wrote these words: "In exile, the goal of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the mad." What Seneca is referring to is something that hits close to home for all of us. It is talking about the incredible journey to find true value in ourselves. Beyond the hustle and bustle of what everyone else is doing or saying, it's about harnessing the strength that has been there all along, hidden within you. Imagine discovering qualities about yourself that you have overlooked or underestimated, not because they are insignificant, but because they are so fundamental to your being that you have taken them for granted. Think of the possibilities when you learn that resilience is not just about bouncing back from setbacks, but about facing life's challenges with a calm and steady heart. True wisdom is not about knowing all the answers, but about asking the right questions, especially in times of doubt. This journey through Stoic wisdom is not just about self-discovery, it is about redefining what it means to live a life of meaning and fulfillment on your own terms. Today we are going to dive into the signs that could indicate that you are undervaluing yourself without realizing it. This video will give you valuable insights that can reshape the way you see yourself and the world around you. Imagine for a moment unlocking levels of self-confidence and achieving clarity that you have never accessed before. Stay with us until the end, because this journey will light the way to a version of you that is waiting to shine brighter. Sign 1. Accepting less than you deserve. When you find yourself settling for less than you deserve, it's like you have a ticket to an amazing place, but you choose to stay because getting on that plane feels too daunting. Right now could be the time when you decide to take a leap, to value yourself, the way Stoicism has taught us. For centuries, Stoicism, more than an ancient philosophy, has been a model for recognizing our value in the hustle and bustle of today's world. Stoic wisdom tells us that our worth is not tied to the praise we receive or the setbacks we face, but to how firmly we hold on to our values and virtues in the midst of chaos. It's about understanding that every choice, from the work we do to the people around us, should reflect what we truly value, not just what is comfortable or easy. Imagine life as a vast ocean, an infinite sea of possibilities and opportunities. Navigating this ocean means embarking on a journey of growth, learning, and experiences. On this trip, the boat you choose plays a fundamental role. If you settle for a boat that is taking on water, a ship that is drifting and struggling to stay afloat, you are limiting your possibilities. It's like sailing with fear, fearing not finding or not deserving a better boat. But the reality is that the ocean is full of stronger boats, more capable of taking you where you want to go. Boats that will allow you to navigate safely, explore new horizons, and achieve your dreams. Stoicism gives us the tools. Don't settle for less than what you deserve. Choose to sail with a boat worthy of your potential, a vessel that propels you forward and allows you to achieve the greatness within you. This philosophy does not seek to sugarcoat reality or hide it under a veil of illusions. On the contrary, it invites us to face the truth with courage and determination. It is a philosophy that challenges us to question ourselves, to examine our decisions, and ask ourselves if they truly reflect our true value. It is not about sinking into despair, but about taking the helm by adjusting the sails and steering towards what you really deserve. It is realizing that the power to change our course is within us, not in the winds or waves that life throws our way. Now let me share a story. Once upon a time, there was a young tree planted in a dense forest surrounded by older, towering trees. The young tree believed it was destined to remain under the shadows of the older trees, accepting the remnants of sunlight that filtered through the foliage. This continued until a wise old owl perched on one of his branches and asked, "Why do you settle for less when you have the potential to grow as tall as everyone else?" The tree replied, "I'm just a little tree, that's all I'll ever be." The owl, with a twinkle in his eye, responded, "Your value is not determined by shadow. Stand up and raise your branches towards the sky. He inspired the tree so much that it pushed its roots deeper and stretched its branches higher and grew as tall as the others, and he was able to enjoy the sunlight that he once thought was not for him. So as you move forward, remember that settling for less is not a sign of humility, it is a betrayal of yourself. Stoicism invites us to be brave. It teaches us to accept our value by urging us not only to dream of a life in which we are valued, but to take the necessary steps to make it a reality. Whether in the paths we choose, the relationships we nurture, or the dreams we pursue, let us commit to valuing ourselves enough to demand the best, not out of arrogance, but out of a deep understanding that we are capable of greatness when we align our actions with our true value. This is not just philosophy, it is a call to action, a reminder that each day presents a new opportunity to live the incredible potential within us. To not settle for less than what we deserve, and to pursue our dreams with passion and authenticity. Remember that life is a journey full of adventures, and the choice of your boat is crucial to determining the course you will take. Don't be afraid to look for the best, because a world of unlimited possibilities awaits you out there. Sign 2. Minimize your achievements. Stoicism, far from being a philosophy that promotes empty self-praise, teaches us the importance of recognizing the value of our own efforts. It is not about boasting about achievements or seeking external approval, but about understanding the strength, wisdom, and discipline that resides in each of them. Take a moment to reflect on your recent achievements. Now, let's be honest. When was the last time you genuinely recognized your hard work and the virtues that drive you? Too often we ignore our achievements by attributing them to luck or seeing them as just another part of our routine. Yet this humble approach does us more harm than good. Recognizing our achievements is an act of personal honesty. It is recognizing the hard work, dedication, and perseverance we have invested in achieving our goals. It is understanding that achievements are not the result of chance or luck, but rather the result of our own actions and decisions. Think about it. Maybe you demonstrated unparalleled discipline by getting up early every day to study or work on a project. Maybe it was courage that drove you to speak up in a meeting and present an idea. Or it could have been your wisdom in making a difficult decision. These are not just actions, but reflections of your character, virtues that Stoicism values. By minimizing our achievements, we are not only being modest, we are overlooking the profound demonstration of character and virtue that brought us to that point. So how do we change this mentality? Let's start by recognizing each achievement, big or small. As a testimony of your virtues, allow yourself to say, "Yes, I did. It was difficult, and it was my effort, it was my courage that made it possible." This is not about feeding your ego, but about recognizing the truth of your character and effort. Adopt this Stoic practice, and you will transform not only the way you view your successes, but also the way you view yourself. It is a journey towards genuine self-worth and an understanding that what you are achieving are not just results, but reflections of your virtues. Sign 3. Prioritizing the needs of others over your own. Why is it so easy to forget about ourselves in the rush of helping others? It is important to recognize the value of taking care of yourself before trying to meet the needs of others. While it's admirable to be selfless and thoughtful, constantly prioritizing the needs of others over your own can lead to burnout and neglect of your own well-being. It is a path that many of us often travel without realizing it. Sometimes we have put aside activities as simple as reading a book, or as important as delaying or stopping our big dreams in order to dedicate ourselves to others. This is noble at its core, but here is the truth that often goes unsaid. Neglecting our own needs leaves us empty, silently crumbling from our ability to genuinely support those we care about. Let's take another example. I'll tell you the story of Alex, a dedicated employee who stayed late working every day, ignoring his increasing stress levels to meet the team's deadlines. His colleagues praised his dedication, and without realizing it, Alex had to pay a high cost. One night, while working alone in the office, the weight of exhaustion finally stopped him. That's when he realized that by being there to support his team, he had missed out on a lot of good things in his personal life. He had left aside his priorities. This moment of clarity led him to reevaluate his priorities. He began to gain time for himself again, and little by little balance returned to his life. As his well-being improved, so did his productivity and the quality of support for his team. This story is a testament to the fact that when we replenish our own reserves, we not only serve ourselves, we become a stronger pillar for those around us. Stoicism offers a perspective as refreshing as the morning breeze. It does not preach self-absorption, but rather self-care as the foundation of a life well lived. Consider it like keeping your flashlight on so you can light the way for others. It is about recognizing that our own well-being is not just a private matter, but a public good. When we are in top shape, whether physically, mentally, or spiritually, it is not only better for us, we are a blessing to those around us. Our patience deepens, our understanding broadens, and our presence becomes a calm harbor on the seas. Storms of life. So how do we begin to pivot towards a more balanced existence? It starts with recognizing that taking care of ourselves is not an act of selfishness, but is the most generous thing we can do for others. Set aside time to recharge, whether it's a daily walk, immersing yourself in a hobby, or simply enjoying a moment of peace. Loneliness creates limits that do not allow you to flourish. Remember that every step you take to nourish yourself is a step towards becoming a lighthouse to those who navigate their own dark waters. From this place of strength, you will be ready to uplift those around you. Taking time to prioritize self-care and tend to your own needs is not selfish, but necessary for your overall happiness and your ability to effectively help others. Sign 4. Struggling to accept praise. This can sometimes seem like a puzzle. We're not quite sure how to solve it. Stoicism, a philosophy as ancient as it is timeless, pushes us towards an intriguing insight. If you find it uncomfortable or difficult to accept praise or compliments, you may be underestimating your worth. Accepting praise is not about inflating our ego, but rather it is an exercise in seeing ourselves clearly. You see that every time someone offers a word of praise, it's like they're holding up a mirror to see a part of us that shines bright enough to catch your attention. But this is where many of us stumble. Perhaps we shy away from this mirror because we are accustomed to scrutinizing our reflections for flaws, not strengths. Now imagine a friend telling you that you have a knack for making people feel heard, or congratulates you on a great achievement. Don't reject it. Don't dismiss it as a triumph, saying, "It was luck," or "Anyone could have done it." Stoicism teaches us the art of seeing ourselves objectively, which means giving our virtues the same attention as we would give our defects. This moment of praise is not a focus of scrutiny, but a light on the path to better understand ourselves. By accepting praise with simple thanks, we are not only being courteous, we are recognizing the effort and goodness within us. We allow ourselves to be seen and recognized, not only by others, but also by ourselves. So, the next time you find yourself receiving a compliment, take a breath, allow yourself to see what the other person sees, reflect on the actions or qualities they are applauding. You might ask yourself, what did I do to deserve this praise? This is not about patting yourself on the back, but rather recognizing that you are capable of achieving excellence. By embracing the virtues that others see in us, we not only accept praise, but we adopt a more complete and balanced view of ourselves, and in that balance lies the true essence of humility. Rejecting compliments may be a sign that you do not fully recognize your abilities. Accept their achievements and recognize your merits. Accept compliments graciously. Recognizing your successes will help you increase your self-esteem and reinforce your value. Sign 5. Avoid making decisions. That moment when you're scrolling through your phone, trying to choose a movie to watch, but you can't seem to decide, it's like every option could be the wrong one, so you end up not watching anything. This is an example of how we often don't make the most important decisions in our lives for fear of making the wrong one. Making decisions is an integral part of life. Every day we are faced with choices that can have a significant impact on our future. However, the fear of making the wrong decision can paralyze us and make us feel insecure about ourselves. It's natural to want to avoid making mistakes and doubt our judgment, but it's important to remember that mistakes are a part of life and can lead to valuable lessons and personal growth. But this is where Stoicism steps in and reminds us that it's not about the certainty of the results, but about the integrity of our choices. Each choice carries its own risks and rewards. Instead of focusing on possible negative outcomes, we must shift our perspective and accept the possibility of positive outcomes. By taking calculated risks and trusting our judgment, we open ourselves to new experiences and opportunities for personal development. When we allow the fear of making the wrong decision to dictate our actions, we miss opportunities for growth and advancement. It is essential to recognize that there is no perfect decision. Imagine that you are faced with a decision. Instead of asking yourself, what happens if I make the wrong decision? Stoicism invites you to consider, does this align with who I am and what I represent? It's like choosing to be the director of your own movie, making every decision with a purpose and in tune with your values. And when things don't go as planned, it's not a misstep, it's a scene you learn, a turn of events, the plot that adds depth to your story. Now think about making a decision like planting a tree. You choose a location, you plant the seed, but you can't control the weather or the speed at which it grows. What we can do is water it to give it the best chance to thrive. Stoicism teaches us that this confidence in ourselves, in our decisions, is based on reflection, learning, and alignment with our values. So every choice, every outcome is part of your growth that adds layers to your character, teaching you resilience, so that the next time you are at a crossroads, you remember that it is not about the certainty of where each path leads, but rather it is confidence in your steps is what makes the difference. Sign 6. Excessive self-criticism. Constantly criticizing yourself for minor mistakes or perceiving them as significant failures can be a sign of undervaluation. For example, when you feel that a small mistake at work makes you incompetent. But as Marcus Aurelius encourages us, we must be strict with ourselves and tolerant with others. But most importantly, this rigor is not about dragging ourselves down with harsh criticism or unforgiving standards. Marcus Aurelius never advocated self-deprecation, but instead advocated a disciplined approach to personal development, one that involves rigorous self-examination and continuous improvement without succumbing to self-inflicted negativity. This is a very fine line. Being really strict means holding ourselves accountable, striving to grow and improve. It's about setting high standards for yourself, but doing so with the understanding that the journey is marked by learning and growth, not self-punishment. This wisdom from Marcus Aurelius is the cornerstone for how we should navigate our internal dialogue. It is a call to embrace a balanced approach to self-improvement, one that recognizes our flaws and mistakes as part of the human experience, not failures. This does not mean that we give ourselves a free pass on every misstep, but that we evaluate our actions with a clear vision, learn from them and move forward with renewed determination. This is the Stoic practice of being strict with oneself. Therefore, it is not about cultivating a harsh inner critic, but rather fostering a wise mentor within us, who guides us to become the best versions of ourselves through of patience, resilience, and understanding. Integrating this Stoic philosophy into our lives encourages us to see every challenge, every setback, as an opportunity to grow. It shifts our focus from fear of failure to love of learning. Suddenly, our journey is not about avoiding mistakes at all costs, but accepting them as valuable lessons. This shift in perspective lightens our load, allowing us to proceed with a sense of purpose and a heart full of compassion, not only for others, but crucially, for ourselves as well. In doing so, we honor the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, navigating our path with the Stoic virtues of discipline, courage, and kindness, ensuring that we never lose sight of the progress found in each of our endeavors. Sign 7. Constant comparison with others. Constantly comparing yourself to others in a negative way, feeling inferior, for example, thinking that everyone is more successful or talented than you. Think about the times you've caught yourself browsing social media. The media gives you images and publications that paint everyone else's lives as strokes of endless success and happiness. Have you ever stopped to wonder, Why these snapshots stir up feelings of inadequacy inside you? It's like watching a movie in which you know that the ending is always perfect for everyone else, which makes you wonder, where is your own movie moment? This constant comparison to others is a slippery slope that can lead us to underestimate our unique paths and achievements. But this is where Stoicism steps in as a wise friend, reminding us of the power within to shift our perspective and appreciate our journey that is uniquely ours. Stoicism teaches us the art of looking inward and finding value, not in external comparisons, but in internal ones. What if instead of comparing, you practiced mindfulness, catching yourself in the act and directing your thoughts toward your personal progress and the qualities you appreciate in yourself? How could your life change if you were inspired by others without losing sight of your own value? This philosophy does not ask us to ignore the achievements of others, but rather to be inspired by them without diminishing our own journey. This journey is like running your own race at your own pace, admiring the runners beside you, knowing that your journey is yours alone, marked by your efforts, attitudes, and resilience. Can you remember a time when focusing on your own journey brought you peace and contentment? Anchoring ourselves in gratitude transforms our perspective, turning envy into admiration and self-doubt. How often do you take a moment to recognize the beauty of your struggles and triumphs? Do you dig deep into each of your steps, no matter how small? Remember that every day you are creating your own narrative. Stoicism invites us to celebrate our achievements, learn from our setbacks, and always move forward with a heart full of gratitude. This approach not only protects us from the comparison trap, it frees us, allowing us to live fully and authentically, valuing the journey that is uniquely ours. So let's embrace it. Our worth is not a comparative measure, but a testimony of our journey through life. What steps can you take today to cultivate a more grateful and self-evaluative perspective? Remember that each person's journey is unique, and comparing yourself to others is neither fair nor productive. Focus on your own progress and growth, and recognize the unique strengths and talents you possess. Embrace your individuality and appreciate the value you bring. Sign 8. Lack of personal investment. Imagine Peter, who always dreamed of running a marathon. Despite his enthusiasm, the couch felt cozier than the pavement outside. One night, while scrolling through his phone, Peter came across a running guide aimed at beginners that suggested he start by jogging for just 1 minute, then walking for 1 minute, then alternating between them for 10 minutes a day. For Peter, this seemed too insignificant to make any difference. However, remembering his marathon dream, he decided to try it 1 day at a time. Peter laced up his sneakers and went through the routine. Minutes turned into miles and miles turned into trust. 6 months later, Peter crossed the finish line of his first marathon. Overwhelmed with joy and disbelief, how often have you told yourself you'd start that online course next week, dust off the guitar in the corner of your room, or finally stick to a morning routine, only to find that these promises are lost in the chaos of daily life? It's an all too familiar story for most of us, not because we lack time or resources, but because deep down we may not see the value in investing in ourselves. Stoicism, a beacon of wisdom from ancient times, sheds light on this very topic, suggesting that neglecting our personal development is not just about procrastinating, but about undervaluing our own value. Peter's journey from doubt to achievement reflects our own potential. Transformational Stoicism invites us to shift our perspective to see self-improvement not as an optional extra in our lives, but as an essential act of self-respect. Think of yourself as a garden that needs regular care to flourish. Your mind and spirit thrive with attention and cultivation. When we skip investing in ourselves, we are like gardeners who ignore our plots, letting the weeds take over. Stoic philosophy encourages us by reminding us that our potential is like a seed without water, sunlight, and care. It will remain only potential. Marcus Aurelius once recommended not wasting time in discussions that lead to nothing. This call to action is about recognizing that the pursuit of knowledge, hobbies, and self-care is not only beneficial, it is a duty we have. We owe it to ourselves. So how can we break the cycle of undervaluing ourselves and start making meaningful investments in our growth? Start small, let curiosity be your guide, whether it's reading a book on a topic that piques your interest or spending a few quiet moments. Reflect each day or explore a new hobby that brings you joy. Those are the steps to recognize your value. Self-improvement is a journey, not a destination. Embrace the Stoic practice of self-reflection, set personal goals, and celebrate your progress. Remember, investing in yourself is the deepest statement of your worth. It is time to take care of your garden and watch it transform into a place of beauty and abundance. Sign 9. Seeking external validation. It's common to feel like we're constantly on stage, being judged by an invisible audience. This is not just a modern phenomenon, but dates back to ancient times, highlighting an epic, universal human struggle. Epictetus eloquently said that it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them. This wisdom rings especially true when we find ourselves seeking approval or validation from others. Why do we crave this external applause? This comes from a persistent feeling of not being enough, a fear that if we are not validated by another person, our value diminishes. But Stoicism offers a liberating perspective and teaches us to look within ourselves, to find validation within and not in others, in our alignment with our own values and virtues. Stoicism is not about becoming indifferent to others, but about recognizing the profound power of focusing on what we can control, our actions, intentions, and responses. This internal compass guides us toward genuine self-sufficiency, where our sense of fulfillment and satisfaction comes from within us, not from the fickle opinions of the world around us. Breaking free from the chains of external validation is not an overnight journey. It starts with self-sufficiency. The awareness of understanding why we seek approval and questioning whether our actions are for ourselves or for external applause. By adopting Stoic practices of self-reflection and focusing on what is within our control, we cultivate a resilience that allows us to face life's challenges with grace. Success from a Stoic perspective is not about accolades or achievements, but about living in harmony with our principles, embracing the pursuit of virtue, and finding peace within ourselves. Remember that true validation comes from within, and it is important to cultivate self-acceptance and self-love. Take time to recognize your achievements and strengths and celebrate them for yourself. This path may not always be easy, but it promises a freedom and satisfaction that far exceeds the fleeting pleasure of external validation. Sign 10. Tolerance to negative environments. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a situation that feels like walking through mud, where each step forward seems more difficult than the last? Maybe it's a relationship that's more draining than fulfilling, or a social scene that dims your spirit instead of brightening it. Maybe you think this is how things are supposed to be. But what if I told you that staying in these negative spaces could be a sign that you're falling short? The Stoic sages who sought to embrace resilience and wisdom had quite insightful insight into this. They argued that while we cannot always control our environment, we have the power to shape our reactions and to some extent our environment. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor who faced a lot of challenges, once said that, "You have power over your mind, not external events." Realize this and you will find strength. It is a powerful reminder that our inner world can be a fortress of peace, even when the external world feels like a storm. To move away from negativity and demand better for ourselves, we must convince ourselves that we deserve more. It is about recognizing our value and understanding that we are not trees rooted in one place. We can move, we can grow, we can seek sunlight. So how do we start this journey? It begins with a commitment to ourselves to cultivate an inner resilience that acts as a shield that protects us from negativity. We could think of it as building your own personal oasis, a space where positivity flourishes and you are the architect. This could mean setting boundaries, seeking out environments that encourage your growth, or surrounding yourself with people who lift you up. Remember that it's not just about avoiding negativity, but actively creating a life that reflects your value. After all, we're not just surviving, we're here to thrive. Sign 11. Fear of chasing dreams. If you tend to avoid challenges or new opportunities for fear of failure or criticism, you may be undervaluing yourself. For example, turning down a job promotion for fear of not measuring up. But what if what stops you was also what could drive you? It's a thought that many of us put aside, but it is essential to understanding our value and potential. We are often chained by the fear of pursuing our dreams, not because we lack the ability, but because we are too focused on what we do and what we might lose. This fear paints discouraging images in our minds, the sting of failure, precious time and effort that might seem wasted, and the harsh judgments of those around us. But Stoicism, with its eternal wisdom, challenges us to take our eyes off what we are doing, lose fear of the immense possibilities found in what we can win. It's not just about enduring hardship, but recognizing that our journey toward achieving our dreams is filled with opportunities for growth, fulfillment, and self-discovery. Stoicism teaches us the art of negative visualization, a practice in which we contemplate the worst scenarios so as not to live in despair, but to reduce their power over us. By recognizing these potential difficulties and understanding that we are capable of enduring them, we often discover that our fears are not insurmountable. This understanding does not lead us to ignore the risks, but rather to approach our aspirations with a balanced perspective, where failure is not seen as a setback, but as a springboard in our personal evolution. Imagine embracing every turn of life with enthusiasm, a concept known in Stoicism as amor fati, or the love of destiny. This mindset allows us to pursue our dreams without fear holding us back. It teaches us that every experience is a success or a failure, joy or disappointment. It is part of our history, and it is crucial for our growth to act in harmony with our virtues. Stoicism reminds us that true value comes not from external achievements, but from our dedication to living a life aligned with our deepest values. Overcoming the fear of pursuing our dreams is not just about achieving success. It is about embarking on a journey that allows us to live completely authentically and with unwavering courage. Sign 12. Not recognizing your own value. Every step you take on life's journey is a testament to your unique value, a value that shines brightly within you, even if it sometimes hides in the shadows. You may find yourself seeking approval or validation from those around you, thinking that their recognition is the mirror that reflects your true value. This search often leads us down a path where our self-esteem becomes a reflection, not of who we are, but of how others see us. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism, however, offers a different path, one in which your worth is like a priceless treasure. You are not dependent on the fluctuating opinions of the external world. Remember that the stars do not seek permission to shine. They simply do so regardless of who is watching. Similarly, your worth is not a currency earned through achievements or the applause of a crowd. It is an innate part of you, like the stars in the night sky. Stoic philosophy, with voices like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, whisper to us through time, urging us to find freedom, not in praise, but in recognizing our inherent worth. By focusing on our virtues, our capacity for kindness and courage and integrity, we anchor our self-esteem in something much more stable than the unpredictable tides of social approval or material success. So how do we cultivate this recognition of our inherent value? It starts with a simple but profound shift in perspective. Turn inward to celebrate our efforts, resilience, and the virtues that define us. Practicing gratitude for our unique qualities and contributions helps us see that our true measure lies not in external validation, but in the richness of our character. Failures do not matter. It is about understanding their place. They are milestones in our journey, not the destination. By embracing this Stoic wisdom, we empower ourselves to live with a sense of contentment and freedom, knowing that our value is immutable. Sign 13. Feeling unworthy of happiness. Sometimes you can feel like happiness is a club where everyone else seems to have a membership except you. It's like you're outside, looking out the window and wondering what you did wrong to not deserve a place inside. This is the feeling of unworthiness, feeling like you're always falling short, and it can really weigh you down. But here's a twist in the line. The door to this club isn't locked, you're just convinced you don't have the key. Stoicism teaches us that this key is in our pocket. It is about understanding that happiness is not a prize for a few, but a choice for many. You even think of happiness not as a rare gem, but as a common stone that becomes precious when polished. Your life, with all its ups and downs, has countless similar stones waiting to be discovered and appreciated. Stoicism pushes us to look away from what we lack to the abundance we have. Overlooking is about recognizing that the value of happiness comes not from external achievements, but from the courage to face our battles, big or small. Imagine the strength it takes to get up every time life knocks you down, right? Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus didn't just sit and reflect on these ideas, they lived them, demonstrating that the practice of gratitude, resilience, and virtue paves the way to true contentment. So how do you start using this key to unlock your own happiness? Start by changing the stories you tell yourself. Instead of seeing happiness as a distant shore, see it as the ground beneath your feet, available with every step. Practice gratitude not as a chore, but as a celebration of life's great gifts. And remember that, in the quest to become the best version of yourself, every effort counts. Every step matters. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the pursuit of happiness begins by recognizing that you are worthy of it here and now. Now that you have changed your perspective, look for the key that you have always carried with you. It is your invitation to enter the Happiness Club, not as a guest, but as a legitimate member. Undervaluation can have a negative impact on your life. By recognizing the signs and taking steps to overcome it, you can increase your self-esteem and reach your full potential. Stoicism teaches us to recognize our own worth and embrace our true potential. If we are aware of the signs that we may be undervaluing ourselves, we can take steps to increase our self-confidence and accept our value. On our journey today, we have unearthed the subtle signs that could suggest that we are undervaluing ourselves. I hope that this discovery will not only lead you to recognize them, but to awaken to the immense strength and wisdom that resides within us. Each of you holds the key to unlocking your own potential and valuing yourself. Remember that recognizing your value is the first step towards building a life full of purpose, resilience, and joy. Let us empower not only ourselves, but also those around us by sharing the light of Stoicism to illuminate the path to self-worth and mutual respect. Recognizing your worth is the first step towards a fuller and more satisfying life. Remember that you deserve love, respect, and success. Embrace your worth and let it shine in everything you do. Thank you for joining me. If this video resonated with you, if you identified, give us a like. I invite you to continue this journey together, growing and learning from timeless Stoic wisdom.